Hello everyone, Zera here. I figured I'd start doing these vlog videos because it gives me something to do when I don't know what else to do or I'm bored or procrastinating on something. And, I mean, they look fun. I wouldn't do it, I won't have it on a schedule or anything like that. It's just when I have time or I get in the mood to do a vlog or whatever, or it's relevant, I want to rant or something. Dogs are on my bed. I was kind of confused about what should I start my vlogging with, because, you know, I didn't want to do an introduction, because, you know what, let's be honest here. Most of the people who are going to be watching this already know me, so, and those who don't know about me, you'll learn about me just by watching these, or etc, etc. So, I figured I'd talk a little bit about something that some people wanted me to go into detail about in this vlog, which is a certain character in a certain video game that I've gotten into a lot. Now, a lot of you probably already know the game I'm talking about. I'm huge into Amnesia the Dark Descent fandom. Everybody knows this. Everybody probably knows this already. Let's be honest here. What most people are watching this from, like, my DeviantArt or my Tumblr. That's pretty much all I've been posting about for the past 6 months. So, it's no surprise there. I guess it's not a further surprise that I'm also going to be talking about a character that I'm really attached to, and I'm not talking about Daniel. I mean, I love Daniel as a character. That's also obvious. I mean, a lot of people like him as a character. I like him a lot too. I like how human he is and all that sort of stuff. I could do an entire video just talking about how much I like Daniel. But I'm not going to, because, you know what, I've kind of already given a lot of my reasons for why I do, but there is a character that is, I think, underappreciated by a lot of the fandom. I feel like I'm in this small section of it which we talk about it a lot, but there's a lot of the fandom that I know knows about him, but doesn't, you know, go into depth, but I've gotten so much appreciation for this character. It's weird, because you probably know what I'm talking about, you guys, but basically I like, his character depiction in Amnesia, and I like the actual real person he was based on. So obviously, you know by now, I'm talking about Agrippa.
Like a rocket falling into the light.
Agrippa. So you're thinking, oh, okay, Agrippa. So, well, he's a nice, talkative guy in a husk who's been kept there for hundreds of years. So what's the big deal? I was just like, at first, to be perfectly honest, he was the only thing in Amnesia that actually scared me enough that I kept thinking about it at night when I went to sleep, because he kind of looked like zombie-ish, you know. But after a while, then he grew on me. I was just like, oh, he's adorable. He's the way he's talking. I love his accent and stuff. And he's very informative. We get a lot of exposition about certain things from him. A lot of backstory about some history of the orbs, and we also hear about Wire from him and stuff like that. So, you know, basically, the more I learned about this character, or the more headcanons we developed about him, the more I really liked him. But the fact of the matter is, also learning about his real life, the real life person he was based on is just amazing. I mean, he was a soldier. He was a plague doctor. He was very progressive for his time. The way he wrote about women and stuff like that. You know, he was way ahead of his time in that sort of respect. Also, he was sympathetic to Luther during the Reformation, which is big for me. He's just so awesome. And I love his depiction in Amnesia as well. The fact that he just seems like this, he's so optimistic, even in this horrible situation, even though he knows Alexander has done all these terrible things, even though he's in this husk for centuries, even though he might never get out to see his beloved student again, he's still trying to keep his head up. He's trying to be positive, and he's encouraging, and he's like the only friendly soul you meet in Brandenburg, and he just becomes such a source of comfort. And people usually around this point are like, you know what? I've been through hell today. I'll take whatever I can get. So, you know, and that's sort of how I first approached Agrippa. I kind of saw him as this, you know, he's this sweet guy who's just he might not be he's not a perfect guy. He's done his fair share of problems because, like that note said, there were these two guys he ran by who he didn't really I can't remember if he warned them or not about the shadow chasing him, but he kind of was glad when they got taken over because like, oh, maybe they'll take him, they'll leave me alone. So, you know, Agrippa's not perfect or anything. It's just that he's obviously he doesn't deserve at all the fate that he got from Alexander, but obviously he kind of needed to be put in the husk because he's a mortal man. He's not like Alexander, who could probably extend his life with vitae. He probably can't use that stuff to extend his life, so Alexander's like, well, in order to keep you alive, this has to be done, so... And then he's just in there alone for centuries, and I feel so bad for him, and then finally he has Daniel come along, and you have an option to save him, and I think that's just so sweet and so nice. So that's how the majority of my time in the Amnesia fandom was my outlook on him, just that he's awesome, and that he's sweet, and that he's a really cool character, basically. Alright, now it's a big deal, you guys. It's sort of, what happened after that is sort of a big deal, because I'm more than willing to admit that a person, a character, etc. is attractive, but I won't say that I'm attracted to them, because I'm like, never am. And that's just the way I am. I know this is a weird topic to talk about for my first vlog video, but let's be honest, most people who are watching this already know me, so. And I know you're thinking, what? You're attracted to this thing? No, I'm not attracted to this thing. But it is cute. I mean, even though it is a dying, rotting husk thing, right, Agrippa? Yeah, but, yeah, not this thing. But, if you've gone online and looked at the Wikipedia for Agrippa, Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, you'll find, like a drawing from that time of what he looked like, and there's some other ones. There are actually quite a few illustrations of Agrippa during his life that all kind of vary. But the one you find on the Wikipedia, I kind of like the best, and that one's also kind of been drawn before, and it's become a headcanon that I've used since that point. And, you know, there's something interesting about a guy who's had, you know, 3 wives. You know, even though he loved his first 2 wives very much, his third wife, that was not a good marriage, apparently. And, but the fact is that you can tell this guy has a great fondness for women, and he seems like the ladies' man type, at least to me, a little bit, just a little bit. The fact that even after he would go through like the portal and amnesia, this kind of character based on him, I could see the idea that, you know, he would have no problem picking up another woman, even if it was a human or one of the aliens that Alexander is, you know, on his home planet. It's just because I can kind of get that vibe from him, that, you know, Agrippa has this strange charm about him, you know. A lot of fangirls are into Daniel and Alexander, and they're just like, oh my gosh, Daniel's so cute, oh my gosh, Alexander's voice is so sexy, but it's just like, Agrippa is adorable. I mean, you just listen to him talk, it's like, yeah, he talks a lot, but you could tell he's really passionate about what he talks about, and he's intelligent, and he's sweet, and he's charming, and he's just like, what woman doesn't like that, you know what I mean? And I mean, he seems like a really nice guy who would treat a woman well if he was with one, and it's just that sort of idea kind of escalated a bit. I mean, at first it started just as a joke, a little meme with me and a few of my friends of like, ladies man Agrippa. We kind of made it into a little meme here, and he's just like, hey, you want to be my 4th wife? It was just really funny. I kind of added to liking him a lot when Gripples, who's going to cosplay, and RP's Agrippa, said that Phoebus from the Hunchback of Notre Dame is her headcanon for how Agrippa looks, just with, you know, red hair and stuff. But I kind of adapted that headcanon, because I'll be honest here, before I even got into that headcanon of Phoebus reminding me of Agrippa, I liked Phoebus as my favorite Disney male lead, because I don't know, I love the way he acts. He's just like very real. He's kind of flippant, he's funny, and he doesn't try too hard to be, he doesn't try too hard to be so, you know, romantic or lovey-dovey or anything ridiculous or just, you know, over-the-top romantic prince guy that some of the other ones have. He's just like, what you see is what you get. You know, this is the way I am. I'm kind of snarky. I'm a little... I speak my mind and I stand up for what I believe in, but I'm also... I can be charming if I want to be, and holy hell is he ever. So, I just... And he's brave, too. So, yeah, all those things I liked about Phoebus already. And so, seeing Agrippa and him, I was just like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. After that, then I was just like, oh, I kind of got a little crush on Agrippa and Phoebus now. So, it was just kind of like a little thing at that point. But then, there's a kind of a joke in the Amnesia fandom where this sort of escalated. And I blame Mala for it, who introduced this to her in our Skype chat. But she said... It kind of started when we were giving... She gives nicknames to everybody in our Skype chat. She gave nicknames to the Agrippa of the group, Gripples. And so then we kind of progressed into a joke of Gripple's nipples. And then Agrippa's nipples apparently are like special and magical and they glow and they're amazing and stuff like that. And I decided to draw that one. So I was just like a week or two ago, I was just like, you know what, this needs to be drawn, this inside joke. We've been talking about it for months. And everyone was just like, oh my gosh, it needed to be done. So after that was done, I was looking at the picture, it's like, damn, Agrippa, and it's just, and then my crush progressed from there, and this is embarrassing to talk about, but it's a big deal when I get a crush on a character like this, because I, like, never do. The last one I had was on Quill from the Wind Waker. And that was over 9 years ago. So it's a big deal. I never get crushes or like attracted to people or characters, more so characters. But yeah, it's a huge thing. I mean, it's just like I said, I like both aspects of it. I like the fact I like the real person that he was based on, but I also like the character that he was in Amnesia, and I think he's underappreciated. He really adds a whole new dimension to the whole Dark Descent storyline. He makes it more not just about revenge, but about, you know, showing that you can do good after you've done evil, and you can, after you've taken so many lives, you can still choose to save one, and maybe that doesn't bring back all the people whose lives you've taken, but you can still repent, basically. You can still redeem yourself, which I like. I really like that idea a lot. I'm so glad they added Agrippa in there, even if it was sort of like a rushed thing, which kind of explains why the Agrippa ending was kind of rushed. I didn't like the Agrippa ending at first, because I thought it would just seem like, that's it. We just see some floating stars and Agrippa talking to you, and that's it. We don't even really know if Daniel actually lives beyond that or not. I mean, at least with the revenge ending, it felt a little bit more satisfying. You know, you see Daniel walking out, talking to us, just like being like, "I did the right thing. This is what I was supposed to do." And if Agrippa wasn't in the story, then yes, that would have been probably the good ending. But that once Agrippa's in the mixture, the revenge ending leaves him behind, leaves him trapped in his husk forever, and that makes me really sad. And I could see Daniel by that point, just realizing that, you know what, Agrippa deserves to go through the portal. I can't go through it anyway because I'm tainted by the shadow, and he's been waiting centuries. He deserves this. I don't deserve any of this. And at the very least, he can go through it, and Alexander and I, we deserve punishment, but I don't think Agrippa does. I mean, Agrippa deserves to go through the portal, and we don't. But I kind of like that. And then, obviously by the twist that Agrippa asks Swire to save Daniel, that, you saved my life, so I'm going to save yours now, even though you don't think you deserve a second chance, but I think you do. I love Agrippa, alright? I really do. He's such a nice character. I really like him a lot. The more I learn about him, the more I like him, and the more headcanons I come up with about him, about his character version, the more I like him too. I see and I kind of also get this impression that I think a lot of people get the idea that, you know, Daniel's father was abusive to him, and sort of trusted Alexander as much as he did, not only because of the life or death situation and that he had no one else to turn to, but the idea that he subconsciously wanted approval from a father figure. And so, you know, Alexander sort of gave him that for a little bit, you know, praising him, saying, "You did well, Daniel," and that sort of thing when he did what he asked. But eventually he was betrayed, and so in the end, again, he was disappointed by yet another older man who just obviously just didn't, who might have seen him as a friend, but in the end just, didn't see him as nearly as important as other matters. So but then it's sort of the tables are turned here for, like, Agrippa needs his help instead, you know, instead of, like, you know, and Agrippa's willing to offer advice, and such for no strings attached. He asks for Daniel's help in taking him with him, but he doesn't force it. He doesn't say you have to do this. He says, "Would you mind taking me with you? I mean, if you want to. I mean, you don't have to." And then when it does happen, and when Daniel cuts off his head to bring him with him to take through the portal, he's just like, "All right, let's get through that gate." Daniel's like, "What do you mean you won't be able to enter the gate?" It's just like Agrippa's already assuming that Daniel's going to come with him. He's just like, "What, you can't go through it?" The whole thing that Agrippa's helpful with exposition and information, telling Daniel what he needs to do to finally get into the inner sanctum, and not even really expecting Daniel to help him, and already expecting the fact that, you know what, we're going to get through this together. It sort of gives me the impression that Agrippa is like the father figure that Daniel deserved but never got. And that just is so sweet to me, because finally, I mean, Daniel sacrifices himself for Agrippa to go through the portal, and he seems to be saved by a wire because of Agrippa's intervention, because he's just like, you know what, I'm not going to let my rescuer die at the hands of the Shadow. It's very touching. It's finally, like, one point where finally, like, a fatherly figure has actually stepped out and actually helped him in such a way. Like, Daniel gave Agrippa his second chance, and Agrippa gave Daniel his second chance. That, I can't even put it into words. I just know that whole idea is really sweet to me. And I'm really glad that Frictional Games decided to put him into the mix, because he's awesome. And that's about it. This has been my first vlog video. Wow, I've been talking for a while, but yeah, you could tell I'm really into this character. I love all the characters in Amnesia, to be perfectly honest, but Agrippa has earned a special place in my heart, and I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. Alright, guys, this is Zera. I'll make more other vlog videos that hopefully won't be, hopefully they won't be as boring as this one, and yeah, I'll talk about interesting stuff later. If you guys have suggestions for what I could do my future vlogs for, or like stuff I could rant about, or just discuss, or whatever, just put it in the comments section, and yeah, and I'll consider it for next time. That's about it. Bye, guys.